The FBI announced they believe suspected Brown University shooter Claudio Neves Valente went to school in Lisbon, Portugal, with the MIT professor who was murdered on Monday. In other words, if Providence PD weren't incompetent, that MIT professor would be alive today. So it looks like when they released the name of the first suspect, I don't think the police released it specifically, but it got leaked out somehow. And they ended up posting the picture of the wrong guy, like, everywhere on the internet. And then the mother of the wrong guy posted a thing on Facebook being like, that's crazy that my son shares a name with the shooter. So they were still under the impression that that name did belong to the shooter, and they just got the wrong guy with the right name. And so it turns out that even the name was fucking incorrect. That name had nothing to do with anything, supposedly. But I want to point out just how fucking weird it is that Brown, having one of the most, like, invasive security camera systems of all of the universities, supposedly didn't have any footage of this guy. The guy was able to go into the university and shoot 2 students, leave the university, evade both police and the FBI, make it to wherever that MIT professor lived, murdered the MIT professor, left that scene, and then somehow got to New Hampshire, and then once in Salem, New Hampshire, was alive for an indeterminate amount of time before killing himself conveniently in a storage unit. This sounds like the plot to a movie. It does not sound real, and it's very, very weird to me.
He was a physics professor out of MIT, and in the physics building, and he was studying physics. Have you tied all that up, and does that lead, why target one person in Massachusetts and then a whole class here in Providence?
Yes, it is true that Mr. Valente was a physics student. Also, we know that the MIT, the victim there, was in that discipline as well. I will tell you that there's multiple phases to an investigation. And so now, in a sense that we know the subject is deceased, now that investigation continues to find out all of those answers to your question, sir.
You go to school?
Continues to find out all of those answers. I've seen literally nothing but incompetence from the fucking Three Stooges here, man. Come the fuck on.
Professor, did you go to school with the professor who was killed? Can Brown answer that?
It is believed that in Lisbon, that those 2 individuals attended the same university in Portugal.
And for the
I hate Rhode Island. We have another one here. A local Providence journalist reported the Brown University shooter suspect got into a fight with the second person that officials were looking for. Turns out the second person was a homeless former Brown student who was living on campus. What the fuck is this story? Literally, no one was able to find or see this man. They didn't even immediately, like, interview witnesses at the scene of the shooting on Brown. But some random fucking homeless guy who shouldn't be living at the university, who was sleeping in a basement, managed to have the information. What the fuck is happening?
We all talked yesterday about the second person. We saw pictures of the second person that was seen in the proximity of the suspect outside of Brown University. Apparently, the police have interviewed this person. What do you know?
Yeah, Jesse, thank you for having me on this evening. So from what I've heard from my law enforcement officials here this evening is that this person that turns out to be a man, we didn't know if the gender was a male or a woman, turns out to be a man, apparently made contact with the shooter 2 hours before the shooting itself happened. Apparently, according to what I'm hearing from my law enforcement sources here on the ground, is that this suspect, the shooting suspect, was casing out the area for nearly 2 weeks. And there was a confrontation with this person that has, according to my law enforcement officials, is being identified as a...
I think what's even crazier to me is, like, when I was reading that this guy ended up in Salem, New Hampshire, I was like, I know where that is, man. I was like, I know where this place is. This is kind of weird. His law enforcement officials, the decay of competency is far worse than anyone can possibly imagine. I don't even know if you can call this a decay of competency, right? Like, the decay of competency is very noticeable, but in some cases, it's definitely more malicious and deliberate than it is mere incompetence.
Homeless person who was living in or around that Brown University building that we're all talking about at Barris and Holly, graduated from Brown University at 2010, had a confrontation with the shooter before the shooting itself happened. And when you look at that video that the FBI put out the other day from that home, that is allegedly what the shooter is running away from.
Wait. You're saying,
What the fuck?
Tom, that the second person was a homeless Brown graduate that was living
call
at
them
Brown in that building?
Yeah. According to my sources, that's what they're saying, yes.
Okay, someone graduated from Brown and is now homeless, and Brown's letting them live in one of their buildings? Was it the same building that was shot up?
Yes, it was. And the details that I'm getting are very sparse at this time. You know, a lot of this information is coming in rapidly fast, but according to the law enforcement sources that I talked to earlier today, this homeless person is considered to be a super genius, apparently. Graduated from Brown University in 2010. I don't know how he became homeless.
I was gonna say, if you're a super genius and graduate from Brown, why is you homeless, baby? What's the story there? What's happening? This thing glows like a Pripyat deer's droppings. True and fucking real.
But he's the person that we see in the picture that was released yesterday by police.
Maybe he was like Uncle
and
Ted.
Apparently came in contact with the shooter 2 hours before the shooting happened itself. And apparently the shooter was going to commit the act at the time, but after the confrontation, the shooter left and eventually ended up coming back.
Yeah, because there was some sort of, not a struggle, but there was running. Someone was running away. Was the suspect running away from the homeless Brown graduate?
That's what I understand from my law enforcement sources, yes.
Like, the more hearing about this, the more it is just like, what the actual fuck is happening? There was another one, Brown University suspect identified as Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, a 48-year-old Brown University student and Portuguese national from Miami, Florida. Well, he's not really from Miami, Florida, if he's a Portuguese national, is he?
An individual was identified as Claudio Neves Valente, date of birth, and he was a 48-year-old man. As Claudio Neves Valente, date of birth, and he was a 48-year-old man.
Can we stop hiring like police people based on DEI metrics? Because what the fuck did I just hear? You couldn't even accurately read off his date of birth. You just fucking switched gears there, brother. What the fuck? What the fuck?
He was a Brown student. He was a Portuguese national, and his last known address was in Miami, Florida. And I will tell you that he took his own life tonight. We have members of the Providence Police Department up in Salem, New Hampshire. And we also have the BCI.
That happened under my tweet, too, and I was talking. It even said New Hampshire in the quote. But people were like, wow, Salem, Mass? And it's like, no! No, New Hampshire. The better Salem, although Massachusetts people are trying to ruin it.
Unit. Obviously, the FBI and their evidence recovery unit is up there. So the process is being conducted as we speak.
How does this guy become the chief of police in a state that's 70% white? I think you answered your own question. Oh, if we don't vote for him, that means we're racist.
And it goes without saying that I would like to personally thank the efforts again of the Providence Police Department, the Rhode Island State Police, the Rhode Island Attorney General, the FBI, the ATF, HSI, the U.S. Marshals, IRS, DEA, Secret Service, and NCIS.
I don't want to hear another round of fucking ass pets from these people. Face photo of the Portuguese national Claudio Neves Valente, the suspected Brown shooter. Here's what we know. 48 years old, not a U.S. citizen. Green card holder from Portugal, was once a Brown University student, found dead in a Salem, New Hampshire storage unit. I disagree with the burn in hell loser, though. Because it's way too convenient that he ended up shooting himself a million, well, that's not a million miles, but like 90 minutes away from where the first shooting took place. Right? Because now we're not going to have any kind of motive directly from the mouth of this man. Maybe there's a manifesto, maybe there's something he left behind, but at this point, how do we know it's actually his? Right? Like, I hate I hate the whole, like, taking their life afterwards, because it's always way too convenient. And the incompetency here is mind-boggling. Like, the incompetency is to a level of mind-bogglingness that, like, at one point you have to stop attributing retardation and start thinking it's malice. Right? When it's become a pattern, it's less retardation and more malice. I called this out on Sunday. My sources told me very specifically he did not scream Allahu Akbar nor anything racially charged. I asked fucking Laura Loomis, Dirty Bloomers, where she got the information that the guy was screaming Allahu Akbar. She never responded to me. Wow, I'm so shocked that there wasn't any source for it. And then we had just a little bit of, like, breaking stuff. The Brown University shooter suspect had been found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound inside a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire. And there's probably a little video of, like, the area of all the police gathering. Ian Brune, thank you. Embrace the healing power of and. They are stupider than you think and more malicious than you think. I think one thing that a lot of us have a problem with is, like, underestimating our enemies. We want to assume it's retardation instead of malicious calculation. And I think that instead of attributing everything to being retarded or incompetent, we should more explore the malicious angle at this point, because it's happened so many fucking times. It can be both. I feel like, yeah, sometimes it could be, but you never should underestimate your opponents, especially if they are used to being insanely full of lies, as it were. And then someone else here said, shocking details that further reveal security issues at Brown University. Brooke Taylor, a Fox News national correspondent. Why is a homeless man sleeping in the basement of the school building? A homeless guy and former Brown graduate helped police crack the case, but there's more to the story. According to her sources, the homeless guy told police he sleeps in the basement of the Barris and Holly building. Earlier in the day, before the shooting, he saw the suspect in the basement area. He said he saw the suspect in the basement area and followed him out. As the homeless guy is trying to approach the suspect, he sees him walk towards his car and unlock it. But then he locks it when he noticed the homeless guy. After the shooting, the homeless man posted on Reddit saying, "I'm being dead serious. The police need to look into a gray Nissan with Florida plates, possibly a rental." The post went on to say, "I know because he used his key fob to open the car, approached it, and then something prompted him to back away. When he backed away, he relocked the car. I found that odd, so when he circled the block, I approached the car, and that's when I saw the Florida plates." It was the Reddit post that eventually led police to the shooter's car, picked up on flock cameras. Police just put in a car description and can track cars captured on flock cameras. While police credit this man for cracking the case, it still begs the question of what kind of security measures are in place at the Ivy League school, that a homeless person could just be sleeping in a basement. And even if professors had been like, "Oh yeah, you can sleep there," I feel like that's not exactly legal, right? Like, what is going on here? Ian Brune, thank you. Kirsche, you're young. We've been assuming malice for generations. It's only in recent decades we figured out they're also massive tards along with it. I don't know. I feel like there's just way too much underestimation because a lot of people just want to laugh at retards doing retarded things. But then those retards end up pushing those retarded things so much further than anyone ever thought they'd be able to. And so, like, the underestimation has made me grow tired, you know?
In Hampshire Road in Salem, New Hampshire. This is where we located Claudio, Neves, Valente, the individual who we believe was responsible for the Brown shooting.
Authorities found the 48-year-old man, a former Brown student, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Last weekend, a gunman killed 2 students and injured 9 others at Brown as they were preparing for an exam. Whew! I forgot that there were that many injured. Jesus Christ. The suspect in Brown and MIT killings is described as brilliant, but bullying. The suspect, who was found dead in a storage unit, attended Brown in the early 2000s and studied in Portugal with the MIT professor he's accused of killing. Officials are looking for a motive. I don't even know, man. Brown student from Portugal, who the authorities say opened fire at the university over the weekend, killing 2 students, and then shot a Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor. The suspected gunman, whom the authorities identified as Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, 48, was found dead late Thursday in a storage unit in New Hampshire, ending a frantic 5-day manhunt. A former Brown classmate described the suspect as brilliant, but said he could also be a bully. What a weird thing to say. Relatives in Portugal said he had been estranged from his family for more than 2 decades. At least 2 firearms were found inside the storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire, where Mr. Neves Valente killed himself, according to a person briefed on the investigation who was not authorized to release the information. How much info has come from non-official sources in this whole thing? This is wild. The weapons were consistent with the firearms used in the shootings at Brown and the MIT case, the person said. Police on Friday were still trying to make sense of Mr. Neves Valente's crimes, they said. It's unclear how well he knew the MIT professor Nuno F.G. Loureiro, though the two are the same age and studied in a physics program in Portugal at the time. The suspected gunman did not immediately appear to have direct ties to the Brown student, Muhammad Aziz Umarzakov, and Ella Cook, who were killed. But as a physics doctorate student in the early 2000s, Mr. Neves Valente would have spent significant time in the building where the shooting took place, according to classmates. If I can think of, like, any connections to what's going on here, obviously all of them are connected to Brown. Actually, no, because the Nuno guy is an MIT professor and he studied in Portugal, so he has no connection to Brown. Loureiro is Jewish. Ella Cook is a conservative. I don't know if Muhammad is part of the conservative group that Ella was a part of, or if he was just there studying with them. So, like, try to find, like, any kind of connection between all of these people. It's, I saw a tweet, and I don't have it on hand, so maybe if my mods have it somewhere, I can pull it up, but I saw a tweet saying that, like, he might have misread the schedule and accidentally gone and shot up the place while there was a study group happening instead of the finals exam. Like, maybe he was trying to target the actual finals exam, but misread the schedule. It also doesn't take into account why Brown Uni started scrubbing records from that one student, but it's possible that was due to fear of losing funds due to an anti-Semitic activist after public and government scrutiny. Still weird because everything was public. Yeah? That is another good point. Like, that guy that they started scrubbing all of those pages for, he's a fucking lunatic activist that shouldn't have had any pages whatsoever. Maybe it's just coincidental timing that they decided to get rid of him at this point? Who knows? But I'd like to know what's going on with that guy. The suspect, Mr. Neves Valente, had been a playful child and later a star physics student in Portugal, according to a family friend. A classmate from Brown remembered him as kind and gentle, but also a bully who was often unhappy and angry. All right, okay, you can't say kind and gentle, but also often unhappy and angry, so was a bully. That is the opposite of kind and gentle. Do you mean like he was kind and gentle with, like, the stray cats, but then was just like a bitch to everyone else? I hate this framing, dude. Yeah, a playful child talking about a 40-something-year-old shooter, dude. Come on. Come on, dude. He was a kind bully. Estranged family. Mr. Neves Valente's parents had not heard anything about him in some time until Friday, when they saw his face in the news report, said Merida Dominguez, a relative of theirs. They're devastated, Miss Dominguez said. His mother said this morning that she had always worried that the next time she would hear about him, he would be dead. What an interesting thing to say. After several false leads, what ultimately helped investigators find Mr. Neves Valente was a tip about a Reddit post. That led them to a storage unit in Salem, New Hampshire, where, they said, the suspect was found dead of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem said the Trump administration was suspending the visa program under which the suspect had moved into the United States. In the past, the program had offered one of the fastest routes to permanent legal residence or green cards. Good. Suspend more things. Professor Loureiro died on Tuesday after being shot the night before at his home in Brookline, Massachusetts. Mr. Neves Valente said Dr. Loureiro studied at the same academic program in Portugal from 1995 to 2000. That seems like a crazy long time to hold on to some sort of weird feud. Like, why murder a guy that you probably haven't spoke to since 2000? I mean, maybe they were in correspondence, but why would you be angry with him? What's happening here? What a tangled web being weaved. Yeah, what is going on, man? Suspect in the shooting at Brown University and the killing of a Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor died 2 days before he was found in a storage unit in New Hampshire, the authorities said Friday. An autopsy performed by New Hampshire's chief medical examiner on Friday found that the suspect, identified as Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, 48, had died from a gunshot wound to the head in an apparent suicide. Attorney General John Formella of New Hampshire said in a statement, Mr. Neves Valente's body was found in a storage facility in Salem, New Hampshire late Thursday. Neves Valente is accused of opening fire last Saturday, oh, they would have told us Saturday here, at Brown University, where he was once attended as a physics graduate student, and killing 2 students and injuring 9 others. 2 days later, he shot and killed Nuno F.G. Loureiro, an MIT professor, whom he had studied with in Portugal, officials said. The following day on Tuesday, Mr. Neves Valente appears to have died in the storage unit, according to the autopsy. That's crazy. That's crazy. The two friends often ate together at a local Portuguese restaurant, Watson said. Neves Valente could be kind and gentle, his former friend recalled, and was brilliantly smart, but he could also be bullying and called a Brazilian classmate his slave. Well, I mean, I had to break up a fight once, Watson said. A kind and gentle, but also a bully. What's the point of typing that? Yeah, that's really fucking weird. That's really fucking weird. Claudio Manuel Neves Valente, the suspect in the killing of two Brown students, appears to have posted a Brown physics message board after he dropped out in May 2001, saying he was back in Portugal and leaving a contact email for classmates. The page was accessed via the Internet Archive and could not be independently verified. He added in Portuguese, "The greatest liar is the one who is able to lie to themselves. These exist everywhere, but they sometimes proliferate in the most unexpected places." What did he mean by this? Because also, like, I could agree with this sentiment, but I feel like he and I would be talking about different people. Luk Chung Young, 49, who was a year ahead of the suspect in Brown's physics PhD program, said she occasionally socialized with him in a group of Portuguese-speaking students. She remembered him as introverted and struggling academically, but said neither characteristic was that unusual among people in the competitive program. Young, who was originally from Brazil, said he was just a little bit more removed. I would not have expected Luk Chung Young to be from Brazil. I would have guessed China, maybe? Young said that Bowers and Hawley, the building where the shooting took place, was a second home for physics graduate students, who often seemed to be there around the clock. Besides hosting classes, the building contained labs and a graduate student lounge and was often a venue for social events. Maybe he was nice and kind unless he were Brazilian? Maybe. Maybe that's the case. But also, it's very interesting that his one friend, who is the Syracuse professor, said that he was brilliantly smart, but then this Brazilian here said that he was struggling academically. And he did drop out. So struggling academically sounds a bit more realistic than being a genius, actually. Jewish MIT professor fatally shot at his Massachusetts home. MIT professor Nuno Loureiro, 47, fatally shot at his Brookline home. Police say the case is an active homicide investigation. A Jewish pro-Israel Massachusetts Institute of Technology professor has died after being shot at his home Monday evening, campus officials confirmed on Tuesday. Nuno F. Gomes Loureiro, 47, a Portuguese-born nuclear science and engineering professor, was shot multiple times at his Brookline apartment and succumbed to his injuries Tuesday morning at a Boston hospital, according to Brookline police and MIT authorities. Officers responded to reports of gunshots around 8:30 p.m. local time, police said. No suspects are currently in custody, and the Norfolk County District Attorney's Office described the case as an active and ongoing homicide investigation. CBS News reported that a neighbor recalled hearing 3 loud bangs Monday evening, initially believing someone was kicking in a door. Loureiro earned a physics degree from Instituto Superior Técnico in Lisbon in 2000, and a PhD in physics from Imperial College London in 2005, according to his faculty profile. Brown University accused of removing cameras to evade ICE. Firestorm of controversy has engulfed Brown University following the mass shooting that took place last Saturday. Critics are now questioning whether the prestigious institution deliberately disabled security cameras, inadvertently creating blind spots that allowed the shooter to escape detection. According to the latest reports shared by Headline USA, the shooter was identified as Claudio Neves Valente, a 48-year-old Portuguese national. He's reportedly been found dead. Conservative commentator Greg Price posted a video showing a tense moment when a Providence police press conference ended abruptly after a Latino Rhode Island radio host confronted officials. I remember watching this video on stream. The journalist accused authorities of deliberately removing security cameras at Brown University because of sanctuary city laws designed to prevent recording of illegal aliens. I remember
the
that.
camera in that building that Brown put off because the sanctuary city law that we have. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the footage to the FBI or immigration authority. One camera in that building, it come out from your detectives, they are friends of mine, they're angry at this investigation that these people in Brown University put the camera off, they can identify that person. You imagine how the family want to go through? Tell the truth to the media here. Putting cameras off.
We heard from both.
Is this even English? Yes, it's perfect English. He just has a thick accent. He's done nothing wrong.
The Brown police chief and the provost at Brown, who have shared that they have been fully cooperative and been forthcoming with all data and evidence that they have.
Boston understands. Not all heroes wear capes. Investigation has been extremely sloppy. Oh yeah, absolutely. Abso-fucking-lutely. Perfect English. He's not British. That's just like, You can have a thick accent and have, like, a very good command of the English language. It's not your fault you have an accent, man. The confrontation occurred as Providence Mayor Brett Smiley and other officials fielded questions about the ongoing investigation. When pressed about the camera issue, officials refused to answer and immediately terminated the press conference, a response critics characterized as suspicious evasion. It is. The surveillance controversy deepened when Brown officials revealed the campus operates over 1,200 security cameras. Yet, Rhode Island Attorney General Peter Nerona claimed no cameras captured footage of the shooting because it had occurred in an old part of the Boris and Hawley engineering building constructed in 1965. You know, you can still have cameras in an old building like that, right? That's not, what does he mean by this? Price highlighted this glaring contradiction, noting that a university with an $8 billion endowment somehow failed to install cameras in a major academic building. An official from Brown just said that there are over 1,200 cameras all over the campus. Yesterday, the Rhode Island Attorney General said that there were no cameras where the shooting happened because it was an old part of the building. These people are a bunch of clowns, Price wrote. True.
We have 1,200 cameras located throughout the campus. We don't publish the locations of the cameras. That would give a map to somebody to evade detection on the cameras. So that would be counterproductive to do that. There are cameras in this building, and as I answered the previous question, we have turned over all evidence that we are holding at Brown to law enforcement and are cooperating fully with them.
So you're saying that there's a camera, you're saying there's cameras in the building. I was told yesterday there wasn't cameras in the building. The Attorney General said, old building, no cameras, attached to a new building with cameras.
I believe he said that there were two different phases of the building that might have two different levels of technology.
They don't even know what they're talking about with their own buildings, man.
Turned over to law enforcement.
These fucking people. Additional failures compounded the investigation's problems. Twitter user Alex Lace noted that the suspect walked directly past a Brown University campus police car after the attack. Yet investigators obtained no footage because the patrol vehicles lack dash cameras. What is going on in that chicken nugget of a state? Patrol cars have no dash cams, no footage to capture him. This is unacceptable.
Does that mean that the dash cam in that cruiser?
From what I know. Alex.
In the video released yesterday, it appears that the person of interest is going by a police cruiser that has its lights on. Does that mean that the dash cam in that cruiser was on and activated, and have police been able to recover anything useful from that video?
So that was a Brown police cruiser, and I'm not sure if they have body cameras in their cruisers. I don't think they do. Dash cam, no.
How? How is that even possible? Providence Police Chief Colonel Oscar Perez admitted during a press briefing that he was unsure whether Brown University police cruisers even carry dash cameras, leaving investigators without potentially crucial evidence. How in the fuck are you the police chief of the town and you don't communicate well enough with the large university in your town to know what their police are doing? Like, come the fuck on, man. Come the fuck on. The most damning evidence emerged when Right Angle News Network, hey, I know that guy, revealed that Brown University received a letter in August 2025 from over 30 human rights and digital privacy organizations urging the institution to disable CCTV surveillance systems. The coalition, led by Fight for the Future, of course, sent the letter to 150 colleges, including Brown, demanding they ban facial recognition technology and disable campus surveillance.
The camera in that building, they Brown put off because the sanctuary city law that we have. You don't want to record illegal immigrants, and you don't want to provide the food.
So this is that Hispanic reporter asking them, like, why were you turning off the cameras, to protect illegal immigrants or whatever. Human rights groups to university administrators dismantle surveillance to defend free speech now, open letter. In the face of Trump's attack on U.S. universities, the stakes of invasive tracking of students have never been higher. The troves of data amassed through surveillance tools can be accessed by agencies like Immigration and Customs Enforcement to track, intimidate, and disappear campus community members who have engaged in constitutionally protected speech. I will never hate these fucking duplicitous parasites more than I already do. My anger and my disgust at them has reached a fever pitch, and the only thing that can bring it back down is a chorus of trumpets. What the actual fuck? I am sick of them being like, well, I piss on your constitution and I piss on everything you hold dear as a principle, but I know I could use it against you and it'll work. Fucking, I hate these people. These attacks are part and parcel of the administration's broader campaign to criminalize immigrants and the expression of dissent, a campaign enabled by nationwide surveillance infrastructure. You know what? If you're a foreign national and you come here on a visa and you start participating in protests against our country, you can get the fuck out. If I went to like Saudi Arabia and started protesting against their government, what the fuck do you think would happen to me? These people are idiots. What parent would want their daughter to go to a college with no security cameras, right? Scary. The activists argued that surveillance infrastructure would be weaponized by the Trump administration to deport illegal alien students and punish protesters. Good! Good! The illegal aliens should be deported! And critics now believe Brown capitulated to these demands, creating the surveillance blind spots that hampered the shooter investigation. That'd be really, like, funny in an ironic way if they actually did capitulate to these demands, and that's why we don't have any footage of the shooter. I don't think they'll ever admit it, so we would unironically need someone to be a whistleblower here. According to CNN, investigators continue searching for older footage that might show Neves Valente's movement in days before the attack. Fox News reported that while the engineering building allegedly lacked cameras due to age, Brown's president resides in a home built decades earlier that appears fully equipped with modern security systems. Wow! Wow, I'm so shocked that an electrician can come in and do an electrician's job. Looks like being woke as F and demanding the cameras be shut off because think of the immigrants get people killed, including the immigrants you're trying to protect. Sincerely, the son of legal immigrants who's sick of this shit. I mean, if they wanted to protect legal immigrants, they would be okay with deporting the illegal ones, but they always conflate the two of them, you know?